The devil in one hell of a time. Let's not succumb to the devil this time. No! Welching on me just like all the others, eh? I'll teach you for backing out of a deal. Have at you. So the Elder Kettle isn't actually evil, is he? And before plot twist at the very end. Elder Kettle backstabs devil, true villain, extra boss, or something. Probably not.
Good day for us. Well done. You're up.
Like charge shots? Oh, geez, what is this? Oh, little devil thingies. What is it doing? Okay, okay. Oh, I jumped up. Oh, wow, that was so lucky. That was a random jump. It's one shot, one kill. Oh my god. Huh. Wow, this boss is actually insane. It's the dragon. What? No, my god. The one I need to watch out for is the one where he does that. Yeah. Gotcha this time. Crap, I couldn't parry it. No, get away from me! Stupid little thing. Ah! Spider? Spider? Oh, geez, spider! I don't think charge shot's very good. I mean, it's good, but it's too much stuff flying. Or, damn it, it's too much of. Yeah, that little guy. So I guess when I can, I'll do it. Maybe in phase. Ah, jeez. Maybe in phase 2, I'll stop it, because phase 2 seems to be much faster. Are you serious? I got greedy there. I fired the charge shot at the devil instead. Wow. Okay, spread is actually really good here, so I'm just gonna keep on using spread. There's no point aiming. That's annoying. Really? I'm assuming he has 5 phases, so... That one is so hard to time. I gotta figure this out. Wait, what? Spider immediately? But I just started the fight. Oh, Spider's not phase 2. Damn it, the little guy. Spider's just another one of these attack forms. My god, goat demon, please. It's actually hard. Your timing needs to be so good. Ah! Dashed into that one. The little demon guy's gone, so I'm assuming the first phase is over. Oh, come on! Yeah, it looks like it. He's like halfway through the phase or something. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's freaky. Go. Oh! Go. He shed his skin. Okay. Okay, axe. Bombs? Crap. Oh, I gotta parry that bomb. Wow, spread is really good against this guy. He's just a giant hitbox. Bomb is probably coming, right? Why can't I parry it? I couldn't parry it! Okay. Let's try again. Oh, okay. Next phase then. Right? No? Yeah. Oh, what the? That damages you! Okay. I'm so screwed. Oh, I can parry. I just messed it up last time. I'm assuming he has... He should have at least 4 phases. It's safer to just do a dash. Oh, it was bugged. Crap. Phase 3? Oh, I'm so scared right now. What's it gonna do? Oh, what the? That's not even phase 3, is it? Or is it counted as phase 3? Something's different about it. Yeah, I think the special where you summon your ghost is probably better here. I'm just gonna restart this one. That was horrible. I could be wrong though. Maybe the other phases, the next phases, some of the other specials will be better. We shall see. If I hold this down and the cutscene triggers, it's like the spread is still shooting, but it's not really. You can hear it, right? I gotta press it again, otherwise I think it just screws up. Oh, crap! That doesn't work. I'm actually kind of scared. He kind of looks like Golem. Oh, I almost jumped into that. Can I kill these things? Oh, they just fly away. Wow, this is really annoying, this phase. Oh jeez, it's crying. Can I parry the— oh my god!
Here's a real high-class cup. Here goes.
Oh, that's it? Oh, swing, you sinner. I see, that was actually it. I thought there was going to be at least one more phase. So it actually wasn't that difficult. I was just really nervous because I thought the, yeah, that phase, the crying phase, wasn't the last one. Stupid crybaby. Crybaby devil. The brothers had triumphed over the demon, forcing him to finally give up. We shall accept your surrender, devil. Is it a devil or a demon? Cuphead laughed. But we're not done just yet. And with that, Cuphead and Mugman destroyed all of the soul contracts, releasing Inkwell's residents from eternal servitude to the devil. Gosh, I can't wait to tell everybody, Cuphead said. The boys set off for home, and at top speed. Come on, last one, there's a leaky cup, Mugman teased as they ran. Once home, the brothers gathered everyone together. You're all free of the devil's debt, Cuphead announced. And that fiend won't bother us again, Mugman added. The Elder Kettle was literally brimming with pride as everyone began to cheer. Let's hear it for Cuphead and Mugman. Hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray. Aw, look at everyone. They're not freaky. They're not in their monster forms. As an all-day celebration began, the brothers promised to never wander into trouble again. And they didn't. Until next time, of course. But that is another story. The end. Achievement unlocked. Souls saved.
that's all there is? There isn't anymore. Or is there?
I was hoping that they would show how many times I died on every boss. 98%? Wait, what? Oh, is it because I didn't buy stuff from the shop? Ooh, New Game Plus. Does it show here? Jeez. These grades, though. Wow, the only C on here is Werner Vermin. It's mostly B's. Just like my grades in school. Oh yeah. Expert? Oh, jeez. There's an expert mode? Well then. That sounds like fun. But I'll save that for another time. I'll do my closing statements. And then we'll close the book on Cuphead once again. Alright, so closing statements for Cuphead. It's probably going to be a short one, but I always say that. Maybe this time legitimately it will be a short one. So, I guess I'll start off by saying a lot of the stuff in this game I'm just not going to look at. Primarily story, because the story is just a, typical storybook style, simple thing. It's not really important to the game. It just kind of leads the story, or leads the player along. Not really going to talk much about it. It's cute though. Much like the art. So, the art and the music, the aesthetics, definitely going to talk about that. The music is just amazing. Like I said in the opening statements, I'm a fan of this type of music. Maybe not like exactly this kind of music. Not all of it. Some of them more than others. But in general, it's just really good music. And it's not like music that you would only listen to in the game, because there are a lot of games out there that have music that fits the game, but you wouldn't really listen to it outside the game. And then sometimes, less common, there's music that you would probably listen to outside the game, but in the game, it's just kind of white noise, and it's not really memorable. This is definitely not the case. This is music that I would love to listen outside of the game, as well as enjoyed in the game. As for the art, this style is just amazing, and I feel like more games are going to start using this style in the future, in the near future, just because of Cuphead hype and to some extent Bendy hype as well. That's what people do. They ride the hype train. They board the hype train and do what's considered to be the hip thing, I guess. Who says that anymore? The popular thing, the popular choices that others make in their popular media. So, yeah, that aside, I primarily just want to talk about gameplay. The initial impression that I had, as well as some of the other impressions that other people had. I think I also talked about this in the opening statements. So basically this game, the gameplay, it's one of those games that are, really reminiscent of early 90s games, late 80s, early 90s games that were essentially considered to be really difficult and borderline unfair. And I've also seen this game called like a 2D Dark Souls. It's really strange that they would call it that, because Dark Souls is not just about difficulty. And you can tell immediately, people who say that, they just haven't played any games. So I'll get back to that eventually, but the gameplay is very good because they slowly introduce mechanics to you, like the parry mechanics, the movement mechanics, and shooting. You slowly get different types of weapons that do different things for different situations. There aren't that many weapons, there aren't that many skills, but it's enough to keep you going and interested. Even though for a majority of the run I defaulted to charge attacks. That's just my style. I'm pretty sure that other people could have used other things as well. It's nice that the game allows you to change them and just choose whatever is best for you. Now, on the topic of the bosses, I didn't actually realize that this was a kind of boss battle game. I thought it was more like a Mega Man style game where you do a stage and then you fight a boss, but it's just bosses. So it's a good thing that the bosses have multiple phases, because in some of the boss phases, the gameplay just changes completely. So it's really nice. What I would have liked to see would have been like a hybrid flying and platforming stage. And I'm going to refer to Nier, because Nier is a great game. Nier does that in some of its stages, where you have like hybrid combat on foot, and then you also fly around sometimes, and then you like change between them. Near Automata, specifically. And yeah, it would have been nice if this game had that. Although it would have been kind of strange, I think. But you know, it could have been an option. The difficulty of this game, I don't think it's that difficult, to be honest. Some of the bosses I struggled on, but most of the time, like every single time you die, you could have prevented the death somehow. And that's good game design, because there's counterplay, there are audio and visual cues to every single boss, so you know what's coming, especially if you keep on playing over and over again and eventually learn. If you think about like the inspiration for this style of game, the late 80s, early 90s style of game, you just keep on playing the game over and over again until you master it and you learn from the game. I mean, all games are essentially a learning experience. You can't expect to just go into the game and be good at it immediately. Like even right now, I'm just a filthy casual at this game. As much as I would love to play this game more and play on expert mode, there are other games I need to play. So that's just too bad for me. But for people who aren't on a schedule to continuously release content and play other games, you can definitely enjoy this game more and, you know, get better at the game and perhaps even enjoy it even more to like the uppermost extents of its difficulties. This definitely is one of those games that you are going to play for a long time, and all the visual and audio aesthetics, those definitely help that as well. Just to reiterate, whenever you make a mistake and you take damage, if you only have 3 HP, you die in 3 hits. This is something that is very typical of older games, and even some of the newer games that have more hardcore undertones. Now, when people say hardcore, they usually think like, oh, it's so damn difficult that it's unfair. And I don't think this game is like that. There's just so much counterplay to every boss, and you know, there's always something that you could do better to improve your fight against the boss. So it's really strange when I hear people say things like this game is ridiculously difficult. There was that whole game journalists can't play games thing that gave this a lot of publicity, and it's probably one of the reasons why it's as popular as it is now. Because you know, when I first heard about it, I don't think it was that popular. It was definitely, you know, one of those hype things back in like a couple years ago, I guess, or like more like a year ago. That's when I started getting more interested in it. You know, it really didn't have as much hype, and it was that whole negative publicity that gave it the push. There's that saying, I don't really buy it, but there's no such thing as bad publicity. There is a such thing, but in this case, it kind of did a good job in pushing this game forward a bit more. Yeah, I don't think the game's that difficult. I did struggle, but that's just part of the game. You just have to live with it. If you played older games, like let's say Contra, for example, because I think I referenced Contra several times in this playthrough, especially with the spread gun. Contra is like bullet hell, similar to this. Enemies just running around the screen like crazy, like the run guns. They just kind of appear everywhere, and then you have bullets everywhere. And then you die in 1 hit. In this game, you die in 3 hits. That's pretty generous. That's triple the amount of HP. And in some games, like Mega Man, if you fall in a pit, you die. In this game, if you fall in a pit, you don't die, you just take 1 damage. In Mega Man, again, in some of the older Mega Man games, enemies that hit you would chunk you for about 30 to 40% of your HP per hit. That's very similar to this. So it's like 1/3 of your health gone. In some of the newer Mega Man games, like Mega Man 0 and ZX, if you play on hard mode, you don't have increasing health. There are no ways to increase your health. So regular enemies hit you for about 20% of your HP, and then stronger enemies hit you for about 30% to 40% of your HP. Again, 3 hits, you're dead. Very similar. There's also shmups, shoot 'em up games. 1 hit, you're dead. The bullet hell in those kinds of games could be even more crazy. There's games like Gradius 3 Arcade, Gradius 4. Those 2 games I've never beaten before. Like, this was back when I actually played those games a lot more, and you know, I still had a lot of trouble playing. Well, I mean, on higher difficulties, of course. Not like the low difficulties. In the games that you can control the difficulties, that is. Those games are ridiculously hard. You can go look up a playthrough of Gradius 3 Arcade. Make sure it's arcade, and make sure it's not the SNES version. That game, a lot of people know it as like one of the most difficult games from that era, and even though it doesn't look as bullet hellish as some of the, you know, the curtain bullet hell games, the bullets are guided, so they're like always aiming at you. There's enemies everywhere. Whenever you kill an enemy, more bullets come at you, so you actually have to actively maneuver, and control the AI a little bit. So, yeah, those are just some examples. The list goes on. This game, I don't think is that difficult. On a rating from 1 to 10, maybe I'll give it like an 8. So it's definitely difficult, but it's not extremely difficult to the point where it's just like, ah. And again, like, one of the reasons why it's like that is because the game is really intuitive. Visual audio cues, and you learn from it. And there's one thing that I think people will end up complaining about, and it's the RNG aspect of it. There is RNG in this game, and most recently, I've talked about it in other places, but most recently, I've thought about it. And there's a lot of negative publicity, negative feedback from either hardcore players or like speedrunners, because you always hear speedrunners say stuff like RNG is bad, and you've probably heard me say things like RNG is bad. But when speedrunners say RNG is bad, it's different from when I say RNG is bad. So when speedrunners say it, they say RNG is bad because in that context, RNG is bad because they have no control over the phases, and some phases are just naturally longer than others, which will negatively impact a speedrun. That's, their definition of it. My definition of it is RNG that's uncontrollable or difficult to control leads to lack of player interactivity. So you don't have the ability to interact with the game and control the outcome. It has nothing to do with speed. So these are the two different contexts to understand. And a lot of people, especially when they watch popular speedrunners, if you watch GDQ at all, that's like my only experience with most speedrunners. A lot of them complain about RNG this, RNG that, but all it does is slow them down. And for speedrunners, sure, that's really bad. It'll screw up their run. But for casual players and even hardcore players, I should just say for non-speedrunners, if you're just playing the game to beat the game, it doesn't really matter. This game's RNG is controllable RNG. There's nothing in this game that you can't control or outplay. So if one phase occurs instead of another, maybe you'll have more difficulty with it, but that doesn't mean you can't beat it. The whole Dark Souls thing, Dark Souls is just so mainstream now that everyone compares things to it when they talk about difficult games, but like I said, those people really haven't played some of the older games, or they have very little experience with it. And it's just a vocal minority. There are a lot of people who have played Dark Souls who have played other games as well. Like, they have a lot of experience with different games. And like some of the ones I listed before, some of the examples I gave off, those games are difficult. Very similar to this game in terms of difficulty. They're not like Dark Souls. Dark Souls is not like, oh my god, it's so difficult. It is definitely difficult. It's very frustrating if you're a casual player of that game, and a lot of people quit. But if you're like me, kind of like a masochist when it comes to games, you just like to grind through. If you die, learn from it. If you die again, you still learn from it. Keep on grinding until you beat it, and then you just learn all the patterns and learn the game. That's how games work. That's how life works. Learn. Or don't. Or you can quit. People who quit, there's a lot of people who do that. Don't be a quitter. Just grind through. Persevere. Determination. Undertale taught us that, right? I mean, I guess the only similarity to Dark Souls is that it's kind of like a boss-killing game, but even then, there's so much different about it. A lot of people compare Dark Souls to Metroidvanias. It feels like a natural progression to a Metroidvania-style genre, where the focus is on exploration and world building. And of course you also have the bosses, but Cuphead doesn't really have that. The world building aspects in this game, they're not that strong. Like I said, story's not very important in this game. It's mostly about the bosses, and I think for a lot of people that's what they think about more, and that's what they compare to Dark Souls, but sure, in that context, sure, I'll give it to them, but generally speaking, it's a pretty weak correlation. But I do kind of understand where they're coming from. So yeah, that's what I think about some of the reception about this game. One of the ones that stood out to me, I'll go back to it again, I think I said it in the opening statements as well, was the game doesn't really change over time. It's definitely not the case. There are so many different gameplay mechanics for the bosses. Every boss is different. Some of them, yeah, sure, they have really similar patterns, like some of the projectiles they fire are really similar. Some of them have the running back and forth mechanics. You can't really help that. That's like saying, oh, as humans, you're not allowed to run because other humans run, otherwise you're copying them. That's just how the game works. That's just how things work. It's just the mechanics of it. You can't say that that's repetitive. No boss is ever going to be extremely unique to the point where it's just completely different. They're always going to have at least something that's similar to some other boss. It's really the small, minute details of those differences that makes the boss what it is. So the projectile could be a different angle, it could fire from a different location. Even those kinds of things will affect how you react to it, because you need to manipulate the AI, you need to control your character and all that stuff. I think that's long enough. I don't really have much else to say that I can think of at the moment. I didn't write any proper notes for this one because I didn't want to talk about it for too long. I ended up talking about it for a bit longer than I wanted to, as always, but that's okay. That's just what I do. So yeah, that'll be it for Cuphead. I'm not sure if I'm going to do Expert. Probably not anytime soon. There are other games coming. More playthroughs to play, more stuff to do. So let's close the book on Cuphead. I'm Ventus. This was Cuphead. It's been fun. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.